I've that is kind of a skill set of yours that
time zones.
No, blaming the victim. Where
you sound like my wife.
Love to get her on the pod. I saw you in the OR. I'm going to make this date up, but give or take a year, 2013.
Oh, grass court, yeah.
Yeah. This is when if I didn't see this show, I'm sure I would have seen something else that made me feel this way. But this show is the inciting incident to why I would be nervous having this podcast with you. I saw you do something that was, and then since then, that's how I see you. And it is kind of blaming the victim. You were the worst. No, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't argue.
You were doing a bit about why everybody is so judgmental about Scientology. People think it's this crazy, wacky thing. What's the guy who created Scientology's name?
I don't know, but he was a ginger. And he had a boat. There's nothing more dangerous than a ginger with a boat.
But he has a name that's just a regular guy name. Jack.
L. Ron Hubbard.
Ron. That's what it was.
Ronnie.
And you're like, you guys think it's weird because it was Ron 80 years ago. And then you let's talk about Jesus. And you're like, Jesus, this story isn't crazy? And it wasn't that they didn't think it was funny. They were mad at you. That you were, what the f*** are you comparing Scientology to Christianity? Even people that weren't Christian were probably upset because that's such a ridiculous statement. I just remember people didn't like it.
Oh, I remember the tag was, whatever. They bullied a few people. Wait, call me when they start f***ing kids.
When they start kids?
Start f***ing kids.
Right, yeah.
That's what they were doing in my religion.
Uh-huh. But we're okay with it.
My brother said the greatest thing about Catholicism, he said, if it was any other business, they would have shut it down. You know what I mean? You can't be like, well, it was just this section of the hardware store that they were f***ing children, but there's nothing wrong with the hardware store. They'd be like, yeah, we're going to burn this to the ground and start a new hardware store. And they were in bed with the Nazis. They went bet MGM. They went bet MGM, and they bet on the favorites. They went with the Germans, and they lost their ass.
Well, they're still doing all right.
Huh?
They're still doing well.
I don't know.
Are we talking about Nazis or Christians?
I'm talking about Catholicism is like where Blockbuster Video was in like 2002.
Where they started mailing you DVDs, but they didn't really have the logistics. They didn't know
Netflix is coming. It's just, I don't know what it is.
I feel it's that way with religion in general, though. But nobody cares. Nobody cares about
I think I think that people do care. They just understand that, like I don't know. I'm going to say that they think the way I think. I just know there is something about love and spirituality and how you feel when you help somebody versus hurt somebody. And that feeling that is unexplainable, that I feel is beyond us, but is also natural to us, is what they exploit. And they wrote a script and a backstory around it, and they used it to manipulate you for better or for worse. I mean, you did have to have some sort of rules. You did have to invent some sort of Santa Claus for adults. You better watch out, that type of shit.
I know who Santa is.
All right, I didn't know. Who do you guys have this time of year?
Mensch on a bench.
Mensch on Is that Elf on a Shelf?
Yeah, I saw it on Shark Tank.
I always heard of Elf on a Shelf.
That's they took that one.
Mensch on a bench is f***ing hilarious. Well, somebody
Clinton
said, don't buy that f***ing thing. You got to keep moving it around and all of this shit. I have a big f***ing issue with all of that. Lying to your kids about this dumb shit. And I really think that like Santa Claus and all that shit made sense before the internet. Kids don't give a fuck that Santa Claus is watching you at this point. They give a fuck if you take away their tablet. That's more, you know what I mean? Like that's like a bigger thing. So it's just like, I already got caught as a tooth fairy. Sneaking in my daughter's bedroom like a goddamn prowler at 4 a.m. and she just opens her because she's so excited. And I had to be like, oh, I'm looking for my phone.
Your problem was you didn't put on a fairy outfit. Imagine.
I should have gone to the costume department.